Sifter for the ear.
News, interviews, reviews, cinema, TV, streaming. Action.
Hi, y'all. This is Jerry Williams, a.k.a. TV Jerry. The Virginia Production Alliance is sponsoring another Show Us Your Work film festival, featuring the work of producers, actors, and content creators in Northern Virginia. If you have a demo reel, commercials, a trailer, or an excerpt from a long-format production that runs 4 minutes or less, you can present your video in person. This happens Saturday, July 25th from 2 to 5 in Fairfax. I'll have a link on the webpage for this show at tvjerry.com with more details.
I was standing in a hallway and we're doing a rehearsal, and Donald's coming down the hall, and it's at a little turn in the hall, and he comes down and he goes past me and he backs up and he looks at me and he says, "What are you looking at?" Just like, I'm just standing here. Don't hurt me, please. I'm just trying to make a nickel.
That was Gordon Bass talking about an encounter he had with Donald Sutherland while filming a movie here. Gordon has been a working actor in Richmond since the 80s. In addition to his numerous plays, he's managed to squeeze in some commercials, training videos, and even a few films. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Sifter Review of the Week.
Heads of State on Prime Video. Idris Elba plays the restrained British Prime Minister who hosts a summit with the popular U.S. President, former action movie star John Cena. After things go horribly wrong, they have to team up to thwart a global conspiracy. This unlikely scenario is helped by Cena's comic delivery, which forms the core of the film. Elba effectively plays the stolid straight man with surprising skills, and their chemistry adds to the enjoyment. Priyanka Chopra Jonas is impressive as the kick-ass protector, and after his notable lead in Novocaine, Jack Quaid continues his trajectory as one of our most adept new comic leading men. This is a genuinely funny movie with laugh-out-loud quips and reactions. Director Ilya Daishuler has staged the action with clever bits of physical farce. The group fight with the local thugs is hilarious. In many ways, this film falls in line with the buddy action comedy tropes, but it rises above the genre with smart writing and skillful direction. Heads of State is the big, fun action comedy of the summer, and I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Gordon Bass, you know, I have reviewed you in dozens of shows over the years in theater, and I don't know if you remember any of the specific reviews, but I know you remember the time we worked together on a video for DuPont.
Many years ago. Yes, I do remember it well. And I also remember a couple of evenings with Circuit City.
Oh my goodness, yeah, all those all-nighters, those are always fun.
Just you and me and the cameraman in there when they close, and we out the door as they're opening up in the morning.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Those were fun.
But that DuPont shoot, I just got to mention it real quickly because it was Kevlar, so that's the fireproof fabric.
Oh my God, yes. and it was December.
It was December, and it was supposed to be raining, and we didn't have rain, so we had a hose creating fake rain, and you had to walk around in that.
I froze. It took me half an hour to get warm in the car with the heat on riding back into town.
Such a trooper.
Oh my goodness gracious, that was so cold.
Then there was the second time when you were actually in the bathtub with your rubber ducky. Remember that?
Now, that was fun. See, I can do that all day long.
Nude scenes are no problem, right?
No. Just like Dawn and I doing the R.J. Tilley spots many years ago.
Footnote.
R.J. Tilley is a local plumbing and remodeling company that was established in 1976. And Dawn is Dawn Westbrook, a longtime Richmond actor who now lives in Colorado.
We were in the Tilley's house, Mrs. Tilley's home. They decided to have me sitting in the bathroom reading a magazine and Dawn in the bubble bath.
Oh, goodness.
And Mrs. Tilley, Judy Tilley, who is RJ, that's Roy Tilley's wife, she got about umpteen calls, and the spot aired once and then it went away. And we never saw Dawn in the tub again.
I'm sure she was thrilled too.
Oh, and she kept wanting bath salts. Well, the bath salts ate away all the bubbles.
Right, yeah.
So there she was in her little nudie one piece, in the tub, and me sitting in my chair looking at her.
Well, at least the director didn't put you on the toilet. That would have been even weirder.
This was a huge bathroom. I mean, they had everything in the bathroom you can imagine. A bar,
wow,
a television, 2 skylights. I mean, it was so fancy. And the toilet seat was heated, and the floor was heated.
Yeah.
So it was cold, and I was taking advantage of that.
You started, Marion, Virginia, you started not as an actor, but you did start on stage.
I did. I started as a musician. I played in the band from third grade on, and then I
What
started
instrument?
playing trumpet.
Trumpet, okay.
And then I started playing in rock and roll soul bands in the late 60s, early 70s.
All right, the good days.
The good days, man. We were playing James Brown and Sly and the Family Stone, Aretha, all that good stuff. And then I tried to go to college for a bit and said, nah. So my dad said, well, you can't sit here on your butt. So I tried to get in the Air Force band. And I got down to Lackland Air Force Base and auditioned for the director. And he had me sight read a piece, and I sucked. You can still hear me sucking. And so I stayed in the Air Force for 3.5 years. I was in the honor guard, played taps in an honor guard, which was lovely. And then got out of school, came back to Abingdon, and Virginia Highlands Community College had a lovely, still does, has a lovely little 2-year theater arts program right there in town. And my sister Jane had gone there, and I followed in her footsteps. And then Mom had gone to RPI, and so I came down and auditioned the summer of '80 and came to Richmond, and I'm still here.
Footnote.
In case you're new to town, RPI was the name of VCU until 1971. You mentioned that you played taps. A few years back, Mark, my husband's father, died, and he was a veteran, and so they, they did at the burial, they folded the flag, and then they played taps, and it was beautiful, and it was perfect. We found out later it was a chip.
No.
Nowadays, they don't play it anymore. They just put a little chip in, they hold the thing up, and it just plays. So, I mean, it makes sense in a way because it's definitely going to always be perfect.
Well, we even did echo. We had 2 trumpet players.
Oh, wow.
So we would do an echo, one of us off in the woods and one of them right up front. I get chill bumps right now just thinking about that.
I know that you got to do a lot of plays in that community college, and one of them was a kind of an unusual role for a 22-year-old.
I played Willie Loman in Death of a Salesman with my jet black hair, and I had my white stuff in my hair.
Oh, great,
And Grandma Harvey, my mom's mom, came up to me at the end and she goes, "You look so old." I'm like 22.
Really?
But that was a lot of lines to remember as a young man right out of the gate.
And then the majority of your career in Richmond was spent with Theater 4, which became Virginia Rep.
I toured for 15 years.
Wow.
And then I was in the office for 25 years, managing the tours. In the interims, in free time, I got to do commercials and films.
And that's what we're going to talk about.
We are.
Yeah.
Surprise guest drop-in.
Now, before we go into more on-camera stuff, somebody has dropped in to add some perspective from your original career.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, no!
Greetings, my friends. How are you?
Footnote.
Phil is Phil Whiteway, co-founder and former managing director of Virginia Rep and a cornerstone of Richmond's arts community for 50 years.
Is Mr. Bass telling some lies?
I haven't gotten to the
that
best ones
far
yet. You haven't been implicated yet.
So, Phil, what is your relationship with Mr. Bass?
You mean spiritually?
I was
He
thinking
is
more.
my Lord and Master and Keeper.
Right.
And my long time employee.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking early 80s.
Yeah.
About?
83.
So obviously, Gordon was working there all those years, running the touring company for many, many, many years. And as we're talking about today, he would get off to do commercials, do some videos. So how did that work with his job, Phil?
Wait a minute. He was taking time off? Hold the phone.
And I was getting paid. I just love it. See, during tour, I just had to kind of work it in when I could. But once I got into the office, which was in probably 97.
Trying to pry his dead hands from the steering wheel of a van to get him away from that and into the office I remember that being monumental.
You told me one day, you said, we want you to be the tour manager position. I said, I'd rather go pick up cow pies with my bare hands.
Which reminds me.
Oh, good.
There was a time.
Oh.
There were many times, but there was a time during which you were tour manager. At that point, we probably had 6, 7 vans on the road at one time.
easily.
All different companies touring in different cities.
All different companies touring all over the country. And I get a call and it said, there's a van that's been stolen.
Oh, great.
And I thought, what do you mean a van's been stolen? They're supposed to be out on the road. And I know we put them up at expensive hotels, any hotels with a number in it. Hotel 6, Super 8. The set was stolen. The costumes were stolen.
Sound equipment.
And there were 2 people in the organization, one of which has passed away. The other one is your guest, who agreed to get in another van, a spare van, with a spare set and spare costumes.
Yes.
Wow.
And was it Memphis or
It
like
was
Nashville?
Memphis.
To drive the spare van and a set and costumes.
Wow. Overnight.
Yeah. And they didn't miss a show. They had to go to Baton Rouge the next day, and they didn't miss a thing.
The show
and
must
then
go
2
on.
weeks later, we found the van on the side of the road. The battery was gone. The catalytic converter had been cut off of it. The spare tire was stolen, but I got it back. And it still is with the company today, and its nickname is Memphis.
Were there times do you recall when Gordon did have some conflicts and said, hey, I want to be able to do this thing or something? Or did he always just manage to work it around?
He always managed to work it out. He was a wizard of that. And he also was the wizard during the many times that we produced The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And we're watching a performance, and, it was pretty high tech back then. I mean, we had smoke and mirrors, and we had a balloon that would, at the very close of the show where the wizard is giving out all his goodies, and a balloon comes down, and then he gets on the balloon and goes away. Well, for whatever reason, the damn balloon wouldn't descend. Clearly, he knew it was not going to come down.
First, I'm standing there. I see Wendy in the wings, stage left, and she's like, there's no balloon. I looked at the girl playing Dorothy, and I said, well, Dorothy, it's going to be a long walk to Kansas. And then when the balloon didn't come in, I said, oh, wait, I think I'm floating. And I wandered off stage, and that was it. Well, opening night.
So many memories, Phil. You got another good story?
Not a story as much as kind of an acknowledgement that didn't matter where any of us needed to travel for a conference or a meeting or what have you. We'd say, Gordo, I'm going to be in Savannah, Georgia, or I'm going to be in Bangor, Maine. And he would be able to tell you the best barbecue near that location or the best restaurant of anywhere from Richmond to the Mississippi and up and down.
And was that because you had gone on all those tours?
Yes. I didn't go to the Southwest, but I got to go from Washington State to Maine to Florida and everything
all the time.
All the time. All the time. Sometimes in the same day. I was in all 3 places.
Wow. Well, Phil, thanks for dropping in.
My pleasure.
Any final words about Mr. Bass as his contributions to Theater 4 in Virginia Rep all those years?
They do not come any better of a colleague and friend and employee as Gordon Bass from Marion, Virginia.
Bless you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Phil.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
What was your very first, do you remember your very first on-camera audition?
And I don't remember my very first audition. I do remember my very first commercial. There was an ad company that came around all over the country, and they plugged in the local radio personality to a chasing down the news story spot. And of course, when they came to Richmond in the early 80s, it was the AM powerhouse WRVA, and it was Alden Arrow.
Footnote.
WRVA was the leading AM radio station in Virginia starting in the 20s, and Alden Arrow was one of the station's most famous announcers for 40 years.
Can you jump on the hood of a car at 11 miles an hour?
Oh, wow.
I said, yeah. He said, how about at 22 miles an hour? I said, yeah. He said, you're going to be Alden Arrow's stunt double.
Oh.
So it was Tim Timberlake and John Harding running out of the Churchill studio, getting in a car, driving away. Alden runs out. His hair is smoking.
Wow.
And he runs to the hood of the car and jumps on the hood of the car as they drive away. And the first take was at 11 miles an hour, and the 10th take was at 22 miles an hour.
And you never fell off?
No. And they're like, don't look at the camera. Kick your feet. Turn your head. And of course, they'd taken the windshield wipers off. They'd taken the side view mirror off. They'd taken the hood ornament off. They had me padded around the middle because I wasn't fat then. I was nice and skinny and svelte. And of course, I got all the bruises on my legs. So I got about $175 a bruise times 3 bruises for that first spot.
And how old would Alden have been at that point?
Alden would have probably been in his 60s.
And you were probably 30, 40?
No, I wasn't 30 because I wasn't married yet. I got married when I was 29, and I turned 30 the next day after my wedding day.
The list is Allen, King's Dominion, Philip Morris, Circuit City, Heilig Myers, Haynes Furniture. What are some of the highlights? What are some of the ones you remember that were the most shocking, surprising, or just fun? Besides all of mine, of course.
Besides all of yours. I think the most shocking one was my first national spot, and it was going to be for Circuit City. And Sharon Spradlin Barrett was doing my makeup. And we were sitting there, we were talking about shows for Theater 4 that I'd done. And she said, "What was your worst show?" I said, "Well, it had to be Rudolph's Christmas." I said, "It was horrible." I said, "We had to have these toboggans on with these foam antlers, and we were running around acting fools, and it was horrible." And the guy that was running the shoot said, he said, "Well, the music wasn't bad, was it?" I said, "No, it all stank."
Oh, dear.
And he said, "I wrote that show for Theater 4.
I knew you were going to say that.
And so I went from being this big to about this big.
Right, yeah.
The spot comes out over World Series baseball, and there it is. And I'm there, and my mom calls me, and she says, "Honey, I just saw your spot." She said, "I don't think that was your voice."
Oh, really?
They had dubbed me in.
Wow. No explanation or just...
Well, yes, my regionalism, which was never an issue during any of the takes, was what got my voice kicked off. And I asked for the original for my reel, and they said, "Oh, no, it's gone."
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the craziest time that you've ever been recognized?
2 little boys one day walked up to me at Kroger in Carytown and said, "Were you the giant in Jack and the Beanstalk?" And I said, "Yes, I was." He said, "We were very good." I said, "Thank you."
And of course, you must have looked like a real giant to them.
Oh, I was. I'm sure I was. Yeah. And of course, and it never showed here, back when Northern Neck Ginger Ale was still out there. Wayne Westbrook called me one day and he said, "Do you want to be a gingerbread man?" I said, "Sure." So Tom Hammond, who was our costumer at Theater 4 for many years, made a foam gingerbread suit that I had to crawl into from the crotch. So it Velcroed up from the inside of the ankles all the way up to the top of the crotch, and I crawled inside it.
Wow.
And we pulled the hole down from my face, and I had to be in it while they did the makeup, and I didn't say anything.
Sounds comfortable.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Thank God it was a nice, cool day. But of course, I had on shorts, and the walking I had to do down the sidewalk up to my house every shot, it chafed the inside of my legs, which was not fun. But that spot was a test spot. It ran in Baltimore and Boston.
Footnote.
Gordon sent me the spot, and I'll post it on the webpage for this show at TV Jerry. Heilig Myers, Southern State.
Heilig Myers could be a bit tedious. A lot of them were training films.
Right.
And so my very first one was down at the Heilig Myers on Route 1, and I had to play opposite the guy that wrote the training manual.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Lord. And he couldn't remember the lines. They had, cue cards down the floor. It was one day, but it was a long week. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Footnote.
For newcomers, Heilig Myers was a large chain of furniture stores throughout the South. It's now gone. Interesting side note, I established their video training department and ran it for 7 years before Gordon ever did work there. It was my first gig in the business, and I'm assuming everybody knows about the failed company he's addressing next, Circuit City.
And the Circuit City stuff that we did for years and years and years. I got a call one night at 11:30, got me out of the bed because somebody couldn't remember 2 or 3 lines about monster cables. And I got out of my bed and drove over to the Circuit City on Midlothian Turnpike and did my business and signed my release. And $500 later, I was back in the bed.
Those were the good old days because obviously I was very active then directing for all those places, Capital One, Circuit City, all those.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nothing to pay $500 a day for an actor to come in for just a few hours.
It was great money. It was great money.
Yeah. They don't do it anymore.
Nope.
We've done the commercials. What about some of the films you've been in, some of the TV shows that have come through town?
I mean, I auditioned for a bunch of things and never would get anything. I was just too damn pretty in movies.
That's
and
what
too
it was.
tall, I figured as well. I remember when Liz Marks was still my agent, and Liz got me an audition for Shadow Conspiracy.
Footnote.
Shadow Conspiracy was a political thriller shot here in 1996, starring Charlie Sheen, Donald Sutherland, and Linda Hamilton. And First Kid was being filmed simultaneously, starring Sinbad as the Secret Service agent for the president's son.
Which was in town the same time that First Kid was also here. And the best I could do was a Secret Service agent. And they shot it out at the old Figgy headquarters up on 95,
Okay.
which is now the Virginia Crossings Resort. And I was there for a couple days in full suit with full radio and guns and the earpiece and the whole mess. And we hadn't done anything. And finally, the production assistant walked in one day and he goes, "Okay, who wants to run?" And nobody put their hand up. And I went,
Yeah.
and
sure.
so me and another guy got to chase, and we're in the movie, we got to chase Charlie Sheen and Linda Hamilton up the back steps of the White House onto the roof. And of course, they had to do those over a couple of days. And then we got the follow-up, which was at nighttime. So I got 2 or 3 more days of work because of that.
Did you get any chance to interact with Charlie or with Linda?
Linda ate lunch with us every day.
Oh, cool.
Charlie was a little, you know what, and he went to his RV every day. Sylvester Stallone's brother was his bodyguard and drove his RV and pulled his Cadillac all the way from the West Coast. He never ate with us, but Linda had lunch with us every day, and she was staying at the Jefferson, and she would ask us about places to take her daughter because her daughter was here. The story that went around that Ben Gazzara, who was also in the movie, had gone to, it wasn't the Butlery, it was Azuro's one night for dinner, and he wasn't getting the service that he wanted, and he had a whistle around his neck, and he blew the whistle for the waiter.
That's hilarious.
How horrible.
I'm
How
sure the waiter
horrible.
loved that.
Oh, you know they did. Also, I had a little encounter with Donald Sutherland. I was standing in a hallway upstairs. It was supposed to be the hallways of the White House, I'm guessing, and we're doing a rehearsal. And Donald's coming down the hall, and it's at a little turn in the hall, and he comes down and he goes past me, and he backs up and he looks at me. He says, "What are you looking at?" Like, I'm just standing here. Don't hurt me, please. I'm just trying to make a nickel.
He was notorious about that.
Oh, he was not nice. He was not nice.
And I also heard once that supposedly you could never wear green on the set when he was on set. And what is this Swedish Auto on your resume?
A little independent film that they shot out in Charlottesville. Chris Williams, who is Vanessa Williams' brother, was in it. And the kid who was in the Amish movie with Harrison Ford,
Oh, right. Witness.
Lucas Haas,
Right. Lucas
he's a grown
Haas.
man. He
Right.
was in it. And they hired a few Richmonders. Everybody's on the cutting room floor except for Gordon playing a lawyer. I got a day's worth of work on it.
I saw you saw it. Is it streaming? Is it around?
Oh,
or
yeah. No, it's streaming. And I saw it. They had the premiere at the Paramount
in
in
Charlottesville. Oh, cool.
Yeah. And we saw it there. And it was lovely.
cool.
It's a very sweet little movie.
Footnote.
I'll have a link to Swedish Auto, which is streaming on AMC. So let me ask you, because obviously you did a whole lot of stage work as well. Other than the obvious, what would you say the differences, or how did working in theater prepare you for working on camera?
It made me aware of how professional you have to be, whether you're on stage or whether you're in front of the camera. You're there to do a job. You give them exactly what they need. There's no time for playing, except when the camera's not rolling. But
Right.
we did play a little. I was trained as a stage actor, but just falling into these commercials and stuff, it wasn't that different. I will say, though, that, and you know how big my voice is, 2 of the movies that I did, I had to go back and redo the audio because I was too quiet.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my Lord.
That's a first.
It was. Both of those movies, for Swedish Auto and for, I did a historical film for Pamplin Park called Soldiers All, and I had to go back and redo some audio for that. With commercials and with film, less is more.
Yeah.
The camera sees a lot, and you don't have to be as big. Whereas if I was on stage, big was my middle name. You know?
Yeah.
And now I've become more subtle, and I think I'm a really good listener when I'm on stage now. I'm an active listener. The play I just got through doing down at the Firehouse, Smoke, I had more people tell me, because I didn't say anything for like the first 3/4 of the play. And they were like, we were watching you the whole time.
Wow.
We knew something was going to happen. We just didn't know what. But your face told a whole lot.
Great compliment.
Yeah.
So now one question I always ask everybody at the end.
Yes.
When you're not on stage, when you're not in front of a camera, what are you watching right now?
I watched Deep Cover on Prime Video. It's Dallas, Bryce, Howard.
Oh, the 3 improv people.
The 3 improv people.
That was a cute little movie.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that
fun.
very much.
Nick Mohammed is so great.
Oh, he's
He's such a funny guy in everything he does.
So good.
Footnote.
There's a post to my review of it on the webpage for this show at tvjerry.com.
I really like film noir. I record a lot of it and watch a lot of it. My wife, Nancy, loves it. And I'm a huge Hitchcock fan as well. When The Bird started showing Hitchcock 6 or 7 years ago, I had never seen a Hitchcock film on the big screen.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'd seen it on television, but
Right.
I'd never seen it on the big screen. So I went and saw every Hitchcock film that I could at The Bird.
By the way, I announced it actually on this show a couple weeks ago. Netflix has just dropped 5 to 7 Hitchcock classics.
I love them. We watched Strangers on a Train yesterday. Even though I've seen it a million times, I'll watch it when it comes on.
Well, Gordon, this has been fun. I've known you. I can't even tell you how long I've known you, but
Jerry, it's been great.
it's always fun to see you, and it was great to hear you talking about all this experiences from your past.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
That was Gordon Bass, who's been a working actor in Richmond since the 80s. In addition to his numerous onstage performances, our discussion centered around his work in commercials, training videos, and even a few films.
Coming soon. In theaters.
Superman. This is the first film in the DC Universe from James Gunn, best known for Guardians of the Galaxy. It stars relative newcomer David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Sovereign. A father and son who identify with a group of anti-government extremists find themselves in a standoff with the chief of police, based on true events, with Bill Odenkirk as the dad and Dennis Quaid as the cop. Abraham's Boys, a Dracula story. The Abraham is a Van Helsing, the notorious vampire hunter, who moves his 2 sons to the United States to escape the inevitable. Skill House. From the writer of 2 of the Jigsaw flicks comes this thriller that puts a group of influencers in the same house where they have to get the most likes to stay alive.
TV and streaming.
Dexter Resurrection on Paramount. Not to be confused with the most recent series that featured the serial killer in his formative years, this one features the original Dexter, Michael C. Hall, and follows him after his last resurrection, but this time in New York City. Medea's Destination Wedding on Netflix. Tyler Perry's Medea and her family attend a wedding in the Bahamas. One Night in Idaho, The College Murderers on Prime Video. This documentary is about the 2022 University of Idaho murders. Trainwreck Balloon Boy on Netflix. A father claims his son is trapped in a runaway homemade balloon, but when the empty balloon lands, it becomes one of America's most famous hoaxes. The Institute on MGM+. After Life of Chuck, here's another film adapted from Stephen King. This is a supernatural horror series about a gifted boy who's kidnapped and imprisoned in a place where kids are tested and tortured to try to develop their psychic abilities. Foundation dropped Season 3 on Apple, and Star Trek Strange New World dropped Season 3 on Paramount+. Last week, Jean Meserve was here to talk about her career from Richmond to CNN. Next week, she'll return for Part 2, where she gets more deeply into some of the most memorable news stories and what she's been up to since. This is Jerry Williams. Thanks for listening.
For more Sister, including literally thousands of reviews,
Visit tvjerry.com.
That's a wrap.